Hello there, I'm back. And yes, I know, trust me, I know. But I'm now in a new location, working a new job, in a new house, with a new garage, and best of all, boys and girls, a newly plated, US legal, double unicorn. It's been a very long time. Like, it's been 6 months, guys. I'm sorry. And, yeah, of course I've got good reasons for that. This is not an excuse video. This is an update video. There's gonna be a lot of talking, so let me tell you the agenda before you decide whether you wanna watch this or not. First, we're gonna talk about the RBZ and when it is scheduled to get here and when new things and awesome things are gonna start on that. Second, I wanna talk about the journey bringing the Stagea from Europe, exporting it from Europe, importing it into the United States, all the things I had to go through, the steps, the procedures, the cost, all that stuff. So if you're thinking about importing a car, you kind of have a little bit of groundwork. It's really not too hard. In fact, you could buy a JDM car from somebody here in the United States and pay a ridiculous amount of money, or you could spend $1,000 on a plane ticket, buy a car somewhere else, and then just import it yourself. I'm sure every place has its own little rules and stuff, but it's not that hard, and it's not that expensive. I also want to talk about what's been going on, where I'm at, and all the things, because yeah, it's been a journey, guys. It's been a long journey. I made promises. I didn't keep them with certain things regards to Stagea before I left. Also, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with the Stagea and that little awesome thing right over there in the corner. My stuff just arrived a couple days ago. I've been unpacking boxes non-stop for 2 days. I'm exhausted. It's Sunday today. I'm taking the day off. I'm making this video finally because I need to do that. First off, let's talk about the RBZ, guys. I had every intent on the RBZ already being here. There's just been some complications. There were some things that were a higher priority. My move, family, logistic concerns, plans that were made really quickly crumbled and fell apart. It is now the beginning of September, and the plan is to have the RBZ here hopefully by the end of September, early October, in time for the Z Nationals in Atlanta. I've already registered, so the plan is to be at the Z Nationals with the RBZ. That's the goal. Yes, that's my goal. The RBZ is not transport worthy. I never put the transmission in, so the engine's just kind of sitting in the engine bay. If I was to try and ship it, it would be bouncing around and cause a lot of damage, and that wouldn't be good at all. I have to get there, I have to do the work, and then I have to get it back. And I can't drive it because it's not registered and it doesn't have plates. I can't plate it here in North Carolina just yet, and I'll tell you why, because I had to deal with that with the Stagea. It's coming. It might not be pretty. We might have to drag it across country on a tow dolly rather than a full trailer. I'm not sure yet, but we'll figure that out. I'm sweaty. The South is sweaty. The South is just sweaty, and I'm always sweaty, guys. Before we talk about the importation, talk a little bit more about like kind of where I was with my timelines. Last time I made a video March, then in April, my oldest son moved out. He left our home in Germany and he moved to Ohio and started his life. And then I was doing a simple brake job on the Jazz and realized that it had a seized caliper. I had to order those parts, and then it turned out I ordered the wrong front rotor, so I had to order those parts. All the while I was driving the Stagea as my daily. I couldn't overcome those situations to make it to the Nürburgring, which, you know, that really sucked, man. That's gonna be a regret. That's definitely gonna be a regret. I finally got the Jazz fully up and running just in time to ship the Stagea in the middle of May. And then we want to take advantage of all the remaining time we have to do stuff in Germany. Went down to Munich for my son's 20th birthday and spent the weekend there, and that was freaking awesome. And then came the beginning of June. All of our stuff got shipped, put into crates, sent to the United States. So we were in a house full of nothing. Lawn chairs, some foldy tables, mattresses, pillows, and a good attitude. And that was pretty much like all we had, guys. Like, that's it. Towards the end of June, we ended up shipping my wife's van. Right about the beginning of July, it was time to go. We loaded up our bags, we headed to the airport and got on a plane and started our journey here. The whole time here, we were being super careful, super cautious. My wife and I and my son, we all decided to take extreme precautions during our entire travel and wear face masks, even though they weren't required. But my daughter, being 18 and, you know, independent, strong young woman, decided she was gonna be fine. She was gonna brave it out. And you know what? We arrived here on a Thursday night. Sunday, she wasn't feeling well. Monday, I wasn't feeling well. Tuesday, my wife wasn't feeling well. In that same succession, we all tested positive for the Rona. Yeah, so that was a whole, you know, week of suck. Of course, at the time, we didn't really know it. We just thought maybe we had some traveler's crud and we were pressing on because we needed to make things happen. We arrived here on a Thursday. Friday, I was contacting dealerships, and Monday, I picked up a brand new vehicle. Quite frankly, relatively speaking, it was cheaper to buy a new vehicle than a used vehicle. Things are crazy here, guys. It's something I had in Hawaii and I had to get rid of it. I needed another one back in my life. 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. Every conceivable thing that you could get in it, it has in it. It is freaking sick. I love this thing. In 6 weeks, we've already put 3,000 miles on it because this became like the main vehicle for a little while, specifically for my wife. The newly designed Frontier got a new engine, new transmission. This is gonna be a fun thing, man. There's gonna be a lot of fun things that come with this truck, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a game changer for a lot of the things that I want to do and just enjoy. So yeah, bought that on the Monday. The next morning, I got informed the Stagea was at the port in Charleston. Again, not feeling well, didn't know what it was at the time. Drove 3 hours from where we're at to Charleston, South Carolina, picked the Stagea up at the port, drove 3 hours back, and yeah, that sucked. There was a week that went by where we didn't really do much of anything, and then we were like, okay, we're all feeling good. It's time to keep moving forward with getting ourselves established. We bought that little house hoopty Nissan Versa, salvage title. I don't give a damn. It actually runs, drives cold AC really well. This whole time, from the beginning of July till the beginning of August, we stayed in an Airbnb for a month. Towards the end of July, my daughter, she left for college. She's now going to college down in Georgia. My son, he's going to school here in North Carolina, going to college. They're all both full-time students. It's just my wife and I, and you know, my son's here, but he's doing his own thing, and it's all good. It's all fine, man. Moved into the house at the beginning of August. Since then, there were some things that needed to be taken care of. I'm actually renting this house from a friend of mine. Great situation I was able to get myself in, and I've been taking care of a lot of things around the house that just needed to get done. Second week of August, I started work, getting right into it, getting myself established. Now here we are. My stuff has arrived. This isn't even all of it, guys. I still have all the stuff from Hawaii that I put into storage that I didn't take to Germany. Basically, everything in my garage, car parts, tools, big stuff to actually bring this garage back to full functionality, just like it was when I built the RBZ. That's been my life. Hopefully quick and not super rambly. Tell you what, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna go in the house, and I'm gonna stop sweating for a second, probably close this door, and then I want to talk about the process with the Stagea, how I got it exported, imported, all the things, the fees, the cost, the time, and all that stuff. So, you know, yeah. So importing the Stagea wasn't particularly difficult. Time consuming. It had to be very, very thorough on a lot of things, right? First is the United States is very, very strict on agricultural stuff coming into the country. Whenever you're bringing something into the country, it has to be extremely clean. It can't have any foreign debris or any kind of dirt or vegetation or anything. Because this car was sitting outside for basically its whole life, there were lots of nooks and crannies that really needed a lot of really thorough scrubbing. Days just getting every little freaking crack with a toothbrush and like everything, every little piece of trim, just really scrubbing and really cleaning this car inside and out. Engine bay, the underneath, the wheel wells, everything had to be super clean. When I got to my final inspection, it actually wasn't clean enough. There were some leaves hiding, and luckily they didn't kick me away. They actually helped me clean it out because they had some special tools with air and stuff, which was super awesome. But before I got to that point, I had to get a preliminary blessing from the US Department of Transportation. That involved me taking pictures of the car from every single angle to include the engine. I had to take pictures of the VIN numbers, both on the chassis and the plate. And then I actually had to take pictures of the engine serial number to prove that the engine was original to the car. True story. A guy I knew had an old German like rescue fire truck thing, first responder stuff, completely restored it, put a Hellcat engine in it, and when he went to export it, they were like, nope, you can't do that. Long story short, he took the engine out. He actually ended up shipping the engine and just abandoned the truck, which that really sucked, man, because I know he put a lot of time over a bunch of years like building that truck. If you're gonna bring a car into the States, you're gonna have to prove that the engine was original, and luckily I was able to access the serial number. Thank goodness to a lot of the minimalization stuff that we did, and I had access to it. The serial number was pretty rusted, a lot of wire brushing, and got good high def pictures. Once the Department of Transportation came back and said, this meets the criteria, you're allowed to import it, I was able to do so. Another thing that was difficult on this is on the VIN plate of the Stagea, there is no date of manufacture. Thank goodness for the GTR registry, and if you don't know what that is, I'll leave a link in the description. You can punch in the VIN number to any GTR and it will give you all the data of like what it was made, how it was made, what it came with, all the options off the assembly line. So I was able to use that to prove that it was built in March of 97 and that it met the 25-year rule. Once I got to the inspection station, they did a thorough inspection. All the exemption paperwork I had to fill out for not only the Environmental Protection Agency, but the Department of Transportation and US Borders and Customs. Filled all that stuff out. The car is obviously missing, certain US legal stuff. So with those exemption forms, that was gonna be the ticket for it to get through customs once it got to the United States. I delivered this car to the shipper around the 19th of May, I believe it was. It arrived and I picked it up here at the Port of Charleston on the 11th of July. I think it actually sat here in Charleston being processed through customs for about a week. Once it got here, it had to go through another agricultural inspection. It had to go through those certifications with the EPA, with the DOT. When I went to pick it up, I was provided not only all the shipping documentation, all the initial inspections and the after inspections, the certification that it was cleared through agriculture, but I also got all the paperwork that made it federally legal and the documentation from the Department of Transportation and the EPA. Total cost for the shipping was just over $2,000. Extremely convenient. The main hub was right there, like where I live, just in the next town over. They handled all the transportation to the port in Germany, but I had to pick it up from the actual port here in the United States. Then came the freaking difficult part, believe it or not. So as you saw by the plates in the opening of this video, I am in North Carolina, and North Carolina is pretty strict about antique cars. And while this doesn't technically classify as an antique, its situation classifies as an antique because of the lack of documentation. Any car that you have that's considered antique, you have to go through a special process. A process I know I'm gonna have to go through with the Z, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I had no title from the United States. It had never been registered in the country before and never been registered in any particular state before. And even though I had all this documentation from Germany, I had my export documents from the Netherlands, my import into Germany, my export from Germany, I had my registration from Germany, my export certificates from Germany. I had all of that stuff. I had to go to a special division of the North Carolina DMV called the License and Theft Division. They had to do essentially a forensic exam on the car. This was a tedious process because it was a lot of back and forth. That division of the DMV is only open for 2 hours every morning, 4 days a week, I think. Very small window of time. Had to give them all the documentation that I supplied to the DMV in the first place. They had to come out, they had to take pictures of the car, they had to take pictures of the VIN, the inside, the outside, the odometer, all that stuff, all the importation, all that stuff, right? Then they went and I sat in a waiting room for like an hour while this guy, detective, ran a complete search on the vehicle, all its history, looked up everything he could. He determined it came back clean, that it was what I said it was, and he supplied me a letter certified that the car was not stolen or something else that I could then take to the DMV. So then I go to the DMV. At the DMV, they're just like, okay, great. Now we got this letter, cool beans. You got to pay taxes and you got to pay all the other registration fees and all that stuff. And they took the only title certificate I had from Germany and kept it to be able to create a North Carolina title. The problem with that is when you have to go through this process, getting that title takes almost 6 months to get back. I've already got the title back for the little house hoopty. I've got the title back for my wife's van. Both of those took like 2 weeks. This is gonna take apparently 6 months for me to get the legit title to the vehicle. But in the meantime, it's legally registered. And as you saw, I even went the next step in getting custom plates. That took another 4 weeks or so. And now I've got those, and it's freaking awesome, dudes. She is completely and totally federally and state legal, and I'm just waiting on the title to come back to have it in my hands and be like, yes, we have arrived. I tell you all that story because it was a pain in the butt, and I know I'm gonna have to go through the same pain in the butt with the Z for a couple reasons. It's been in storage a long time. I've moved a few times, and I can't find two very, very important things. One, I can't find the title. I don't know where it's at. I thought I did. I can't find it. And two, I can't find the VIN plate. Way back when I painted the engine bay, I took the VIN plate off and I put it in a safe place that I would never lose it. I don't know where that's at, and I can't find it. If I have to go through this forensic inspection, that's gonna be a problem. I've got so much paperwork over the years. Hopefully I can recreate the title. So yeah. That said, I can't just get plates here because I don't have any proof that I own the car right now. And I know they're gonna say you have to go through this special process. And without those plates, I can't just go to Oregon and fix the Z and drive it back. So I'm gonna have to tow it back. It's a dilemma and it sucks. So let's wrap this video up by talking about a couple things I'm doing with the Stagea, things that are about to come with the Stagea. Guys, this was my daily driver for a long time until my wife's van got here, which was just a few weeks ago. So she was driving the truck. I've been driving this. This thing breaks necks. Like, this thing breaks necks. People stopping me at stoplights. People like crossing streets and stopping and talking to me. I've been to a Cars and Coffee. I've met some freaking cool people. That was awesome. One guy, he owns a 90 300 Dingo. He was over here. We were doing work on his car. That was freaking awesome. I'm out there. I'm meeting people. I haven't been capturing it. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna do better. I promise. I gotta get back into the mojo, man. I gotta get back into the vibes. I don't have the vibes right now. I don't have the mojo, I don't have the vibes, but I'm trying. Now that I have more tools here and more things, finally had an opportunity to do some work. You could see I took all the door cards out. I am working on the sound system right now. As I showed you, this is the 5-speed. This thing was acquired quite a long time ago. It just so happens I knew the guy that lived here, and we both knew the guy that owned it. We all three knew each other, and what that allowed me to do was like actually pull the trigger on this transmission way back when I was in Germany still, like I think in April, May. Dude, hey, do you mind if I ship a transmission to the house and just have it waiting for me since I'm gonna be moving in? And he's like, yeah, no problem. It is out of an R34 5-speed. Apparently it's from an R34 Neo. I wasn't aware that there were manual 25 34s. I've always just been trying to track down either a 32 or a 33 GTR trans. Essentially the exact same thing. This is happening. I just need my shipment from Hawaii that has my transmission jack before I can attempt this, and that shipment will be here in a couple of weeks, and then this house is gonna be bursting, man. Like this garage. And then with the freaking Z here too, oh hell no, man. Unfortunately, this garage is smaller than I had hoped. Front to back, side to side, there's not a lot of room here, but guys, we're gonna make it work. The owner, he's already cool with me, like building out a huge like workbench and all the things and like upper storage and painting, and we're gonna transform this. Maybe an episode of me just like building this garage, and that should be pretty freaking fun, man. Like I'm really looking forward to that. That's all the things. I got a lot of plans in mind for this garage, and I can't wait to get to it. Like I said, the focus has been getting my kids to college, getting settled in, and just trying to adjust to like all this change. It's been significant, and I'm sorry that I left you behind in the process of that. I always feel bad about it. Like, I contemplate all the time about making another video, and I talk myself out of it because I don't know. I just want to end one more time by showing you that freaking dope license plate. It was actually my son X that came up with the idea. We were actually sitting around one night at dinner, like all of us, and we were just talking about clever custom plates, you know, for the cars, and like what should the name of the truck be, and what's the name of the house hoopty, and you know, all the things. What was the right tag for this car? And guys, this was his freaking idea, and it's so good. It's so good. Like, if you get it, you get it. Some people look at it and they just like, that doesn't, it looks weird. Like, I don't understand what it's saying, but it's so good, man. Double unicorn. Freaking love it, dude. I love it so much. Anywho, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today. So until next time, amici, ciao a tutti, and aloha. Bye-bye.